Have to do that.
Everyone's here. Zoom.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Okay.
All right. Not so very long ago, Steve bought himself a new recliner.
Break it in.
He didn't know he'd have to live in it. Been an interesting week so far over at the CDA. This was an inspection by HUD. HUD staff from Milwaukee came up and inspected. And it went very, very well. But it makes you a little tense when they're going through your files and all that stuff. So it's been an interesting week for me. And welcome to all of the visitors. Public comments? We have we have some public here, but we have no comments. Looks like. And then the next thing is the election of officers. Yeah, you better.
Okay. Are there any nominations for president?
I'm nominating. I'm nominating.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, if there are none, I
Motion to cast a unanimous ballot. Brandy Q. Second.
Okay, to close the nominations of cast in a unanimous ballot. And then we need a roll call. Pinker?
Yes.
Gershman?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Keo?
Abstain.
Meek?
Yes.
All right, thank you all. I gotta think about that though. Sometimes you don't feel like you, anyway. And all of you need to be thinking about it. If I take the next year as president, this next year will be my last year on the commission. Next April, I'm done. And I don't think you want someone to be an active participant in an important commission like this who is 83 and has trouble finding that expert. So, next.
Okay, so you can carry on then with the election process, and we need a vice president. So.
Yeah.
Right there, that's where you
Are there any nominations for vice president of the Police and Fire Commission of Marshfield?
I nominate Chris Hansen as vice chair.
All right, we have a nomination of Chris. Anyone else? And hearing no additional nominations, we'll call it closed. We have to have a roll call vote then, I suppose, huh?
So, yeah. Probably should have a motion in a second.
Yeah, motion and a second.
Yeah.
Motion from you, second from Bill. Any additional comments or questions? If not, we'll go directly to the vote.
Pinker?
Oh, it does.
How's Steve gonna vote if we do it on sheets?
He loses his, right to vote absentee. So
Oh,
we'll have
okay,
to-
good.
this will have to be.
All right. Could we have someone who's independent of the commission count the ballots? Well, you can't just leave. Jake, would you count the ballots?
Absolutely. Say what they're all for.
So I guess majority, I guess.
If you just look at it.
Here.
Jake is here because he,
And then we have to have
has
a
been
meeting.
selected for detention.
Yes. Oh, yeah, thank you, can't vote because it's not.
Yeah, we don't know how many
He
for,
can vote in
were
person,
for what. We
It's
just need
it's
to
still
know.
majority.
Okay,
It's
so
still
we,
majority. We have three
so we have three for.
for Hanson, so
Yep.
we don't need Steve.
the stuff that's out there. I think it is a less popular field. And we're paying the price.
We have less officers, in my other hat, where as an instructor at Mid-State and North Central Tech, there's less in the academies overall, but the quality's there. And, so that is refreshing. The people that want to do it are good at it.
And Andy, may I just quickly note, this is the bottom of page 7A. Fort Worth Fire Department is taking over complete that start and service in Fort Worth, start in Fort Collins.
That's increasingly the case.
Right.
Item 8 on the agenda, approval of police department bills. Chief.
Thank you. In your packets, there's two sets of bills. The first was signed by Commissioner Keel on May 29th, the other yesterday by Commissioner Pinker. And looking over the bills, I didn't see anything that really stood out to me, but I'm willing to answer any questions and ask for your approval.
Motion to approve.
I'll move. Second.
Questions?
I just have one. 8B. Why specifically two different grades of 9 now?
Practice and duty ammo.
Anything else? Call the question, please.
Pinker,
Yes.
Gershman,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yep.
Theo,
Yes.
Meek,
yes,
Now, Chief, approval of the fire department bills.
Thank you. You'll see two sets of bills. One was approved by Commissioner Pinker, second by Commissioner Hanson. There's two things that I'd like to make note. The first one it's on page 9G on the top, emergency vehicle services. This is for 50% down payment for a squad refurb. This item was in the CIP. I also want to make note that our squad was scheduled to be replaced, but staff worked very, very hard in doing an analysis of the squad and being able to save the city a lot of money to be able to decide that this could be refurbed instead of just replaced. So staff did a lot of hard work on this through this project. Once again, the $75,000 is in the CIP, and this is 50% down payment for that project. And that'll be going to the city of Marion for that refurb. The second thing that I just wanted to show that was on page 9I and 9J for Stryker. The reason why I'm pointing this out is that on the bottom of 9I, there was a billing issue with Stryker. And then on the page 9J, that's the credit that comes back. So the actual, there's a lot of big numbers on that page, but the actual is $5,129.09. In your sheets, it looks like a lot of money, but it was all billing issues there. I would entertain any questions and ask for your approval.
Any questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
9B on the ignition. Quick ignition, lube, sticky ignition with graphite spray. Did they say anything about if that was a Band-Aid fix, that it might be placement down the road, or
No.
check into if the key is maybe worn?
Yeah,
Steve's got it.
yeah, that was one of the ambulances. No, they went in for maintenance. The mechanic looked at it, lubed it up, but there was no indication that it'll need to be replaced anytime soon.
I know sometimes that graphite is kind of a Band-Aid fix. It's not an exterior cylinder, so that helps, but maybe check into the wear of the key too. I mean,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion.
I'm making a motion.
Second.
Any additional comments or questions? Go. Question.
Pinker,
Yes.
Gershman,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Keo,
Yes.
Meek,
yes,
Probably not the time to bring it up, but I will anyway. I have a personal problem. I don't know how to ask, well, I could ask you. Do I say to the repair people, I can't close the door on my car? Or do I say to the repair people, I can't open the door on mine? They can't do either.
Well,
It depends on if
Yeah.
you're inside of the vehicle or on the
Yeah,
outside.
I'd be
just thinking that.
I think it's dependent on the current state of the door.
Well, the door is closed.
You can close it.
You know.
Well, I can't close it because it's closed. I can't open it either. All right, police department activity reports, training reports, correspondence, all that stuff.
Okay, in review of the activities, you'll notice again, we had another full month of training. We've been hitting that pretty hard. It's important to us. But we also had some kind of fun ways to connect with the community this last month. I was able to attend the graduation at Mid-State Tech, which is kind of cool. I was there with Lieutenant Punky. We also had our Citizens Academy graduate in May, which was kind of a neat activity as well. And I think my favorite is that we had some third graders from both OLP and Madison Elementary come in for tours. And our officers that gave the tour were told that if we give them whistles again, next year, they're gonna stay with us. So, it was fun for us at the time, but it may come back to bite us. With that, I ask that you place on file, if there's no questions about the activities.
How is
I give them all whistles.
how is, Officer Eckes doing with the Spanish training?
She's really getting into that, so I think she's doing well. She's not the only one in our department that's found an interest with it, but she's doing well. So I bet you we've got about 5 people, just off the top of my head, that are interested in learning Spanish, especially Spanish for law enforcement. So really proud of them for reaching out.
Would you have one of them come to the meetings? Just kind of describe.
I can ask them, most of them are working nights, but we can see if we can beg them to come.
Okay.
They just don't go to bed.
Yeah, stay up, right?
How about the Wildwood building?
The Wildwood Building, and I want to thank Commissioner Meek for putting this on the agenda so we can talk about it. The next step with the Wildwood Building is that we put it on the CIP for blueprint and design. It's a heavy lift. That part of the building process is expensive. And we know our city is working to get out of financial troubles right now. And the CIP process was really cool. We had all the departments in the city work together to try to fit into the budget. And we have an option to where we can put it in the budget if the council agrees to it. So there's a way that we can make it fit to move forward to the next step. That being said, is that, you know, there'd be some sacrifices. So our council has to decide whether or not to move forward with that part of the bill. It's almost $900,000. So it's a heavy lift. If that moves forward, we're hoping to spread the bill into 2 different budget seasons and to try to make it fit in the budget. So the blueprint and design portion would be where we start to form committees with commission, police department, and other city stakeholders to find a way to make it work and then fit the community, the city, and us. That's my hope that we can do moving forward. So I hope that we are able to get it passed and that we can all work together to move towards a new building. If not, I understand. And we're gonna have to invest a little bit into, well, quite a bit into our building, but you know, we have to move forward as a city either way. So that's the best update. Currently, the building is being used quite a bit for training. We do have the communications department is remodeling, and so we're temporarily storing some of their equipment for them. So you know, the building is being used as much as it can be at this point until we decide which direction the city wants to go.
With that, I would entertain any questions and hope I can answer.
Are there any grant up?
We looked into some grant opportunities. A lot of them come with a lot of asterisks where, you know, they could give money, but sometimes our investment into meeting the grant obligation raises the cost of our bill. So, what I would like to do is if we're able to move forward with the design, we can get together and we can find things that we need to make a functional police department for years to come and fit comfortably into a budget. That's my hope.
I'm going to ask Andy a question, so put on a different hat.
Yes, sir.
Can the CDA help on this project or not?
The answer to that would be, given a whole bunch of conditions, yes. It would be a simpler answer, you know, and it depends what the timeline is, what the pace is. The CDA will be changing its structure over the next 2 years. And we can certainly bond. So the answer, I think, would be yes, they would be able to provide some help. The city has to decide that help from the CDA would be generally beneficial. And they would come to us. We have no go to them role, other than to remind them that we can help if the city determines that's to their benefit. The CDA Community Development Authority can bond, and has bonding authority. And the benefit to the city, Chris, who's not had to live through this, benefit to the city is that we could bond the remodeling of the Wildwood building, and it would not be city debt. It would be treated as an operational cost, almost like a lease. And for the city, that can be a benefit. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be paid back, but it doesn't have anything to do with the restrictions on the city about the amount of debt, percentage of this, and so on. So there are occasions where bonding by the CDA is a benefit.
The bigger issue, just to add on to that, is the cost of credit. So CDA in theory would pay a higher rate than Marshfield would based on their financials.
Interesting, as we've looked at it, when we have, CDA has done the bonding, the difference is
Not large.
not large, because everyone knows the city is the one that's on the hook for it. And the city has unlimited taxing authority. The mayor cringed at that.
Sorry, wait a minute.
I noticed you weren't taking notes. You can have.
Yeah, thank you. I need 2 pens. Yeah.
The one thing that's sometimes hard to remember is that the elements of the city, the CDA and this and that, sometimes if they work together, everyone's better off. And a lot of times we don't look for the opportunities to work together. So anyway. Thanks, Chief. You want to talk about Jake and Mac?
I really do. Actually, before I get into that, what I'd like to do is I think this is a good time to fill a commission into maybe a litmus test on how our department is doing. Sometimes processes show us that, you know, sometimes if we run a process and things don't go so well, we might find some areas where we're falling short, maybe in training or in actual just personal growth. Some things that need redirection. I'd like to share with the commission that in this process, we learned that our investment in training is paying off. We had 5 applicants to go for detective.
I would not hesitate to hire, promote, or request or promote all 5 of them. They were, in addition to Jake and Matt, Brody Erickson, Alex Mitchell, and Jesse Kalahaj were all candidates in this process. And I'm very proud of all of them. Our investment in training, and I know that I show to you every month in our activities, and you guys see them in the bills. We pay for it, but I think it's paying off. We have outstanding people. And again, I'd hire all 5 of them. That being said, Jake Maxon, who doesn't like to be clapped at, I guess, he left, scored first and knocked us off of our chairs in this process. Jake has been with us since 2018. He has consistently shown us that he has just a natural gift to build rapport, which I think is very, very important as a police officer and also as a detective. Jake, scoring first, had the first pick of our 2 open positions. He chose the drug detective. He did this for a lot of reasons, some personal and professional reasons. Jake, in the day shift, has found a knack to find drug drivers and enforce drug laws. And he's just has a knack to it. He's going to be phenomenal. And I would request that you support my decision to promote Jake. I can guarantee that he and the next agenda item, Mac, neither one of these folks are going to you down. I look for your approval for Jake's promotion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Jake, promotion to detective. Any questions or comments? I'll make a quick one. I rode with Jake. So I'm sitting on his right and I'm turning my head to look at him, and you can't tell, but his glasses are thick. And they're just thick. That man could see stuff I couldn't. Oh, he doesn't have a seatbelt on. Oh, I remember, yeah, I know what she's up to. He was phenomenal. He was very, very impressive. And then Bill and I interviewed the finalists, and they did a wonderful job. So I think Jake is an excellent choice. We have a motion. Any comments or questions? Let's.
Pinker, Gershman,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Theo,
Yes.
Meek,
Yes.
Next is, Shepler, is that what you say is the last name?
Max Scheffler.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. It's, again, with a lot of pride that I bring Max Scheffler in front of the board for, our commission rather, for promotion. Mac, also been with us since 2018. He is a consistent just worker. He knows the grindstone type work ethic, builds rapport, great personality. He also is, he's a field trainer, just like Jake is. He's on our SRT. He's a DAT instructor, TASER instructor. Mac is the type of person that if he doesn't know something, he learns it and he works. He does the work. Mac did excellent in this process, as he does in his career, has done for his entire career, and I am very proud to bring him in front of the commission and ask for your approval for his promotion. I think he will be phenomenal as a detective.
I have just one comment. I rode with Mac and, of course, he was on the same shift. And talk about highly productive, engaging, policemen.
You're right. I had the honor to have both of them on my shift when I was a lieutenant. That's a period of my career that's probably the most fun I've ever had. They've got a dynamic together that makes coming to work a lot of fun, and they're productive, and they're a good dynamic.
It's just incredible. So I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a second to the motion? Well, I'm glad we moved you. Because you're not supposed to have fun.
Well, we fixed that.
We have a motion and a second, to promote, Officer Shepler to the position of detective. Any additional comments or questions? Go ahead.
Pinker,
Yes.
Gershman,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Keo,
Yes.
Meek,
yes,
Thank you all. How about the K-9 announcement?
Canine, this is, I think, a real good addition to our department. We, unfortunately, we do have drugs in our city, and I think the more tools that we have to find those drugs is great. And adding another canine, even though that it's a great benefit to our city, we need to have the right person to have a dog. This isn't one where we just pick somebody out of the ranks that didn't apply and do it. It takes a lot of dedication. And we had a couple of applicants. One of them withdrew because they were in a detective process, but Matt Klug, he's one of our newer officers. He'll be here 3 years shortly. This year he'll be here 3 years. He is a great candidate for our canine position. We did a home visit. His wife is on board. He's excited to do this position. I think he'll be a great appointment. Matt Klug came from Mid-State Tech. Just a great kid. I think he's going to do well in this position, a hard worker. So we appointed Matt to the K-9, and he'll be going to school in September. We'll be getting him outfitted, and he'll be working hopefully certainly by Christmas.
Terrific. That would be, that's a big commitment.
It is.
Thought about that a lot. I'm sure it will work well for him and for the department.
He is, he's giving up a position on SRT. He loves SRT, but to have both the K-9 and SRT, it just doesn't work. There's too much training time, and we can't integrate the dog a lot of times into the entries. So he is stepping down from SRT, which will give someone else an opportunity to step up. So he's making commitments already.
How many officers are on the SRT?
Oh, boy, we're right around a dozen for sniper and entry, and then we've got our negotiations, which is half dozen or so.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head.
And it's beside the point, but did you guys get a new sniper rifle or rifles?
We try, the last 3 years, we've upgraded one rifle per sniper.
Okay.
So we try to integrate on a cycle. So they're expensive, so we want to cycle them out, but that's one that puts a lot of rounds through the barrel, and it's one that we need functioning absolutely perfect. So
yeah,
cycle them out.
Okay, thank you. Next item on our agenda is fire department activities, training reports, correspondence.
Thank you. I was instructed to keep this brief and well. You'll see, I'm not going to read through everything in the activity report. We had another busy month. Calls were up this month compared to last by 42 calls to the amount of 317. We had 227 fire inspections and 282 hours of training, and a very busy month. One thing we're going to highlight is the 19th through the 25th was EMS week, and I'm going to pass it on to Steve to give you some.
Thank you. I'll make this very brief. My honor to pass on to the commission if you guys weren't aware. So we had EMS week was the 19th through 25th. As the commission is aware, last several years we celebrate EMS week by highlighting all the employees that had a hand in a confirmed cardiac save in the previous year. Last year in 2023, we were able to confirm 11 saves, which is the most in a year we've had since we started doing this. I'm hoping those numbers continue to climb, but again, it shows our crew is working very hard, training as medicine changes, and again, hoping that the numbers continue to climb.
before and I just want to say too, that just want to point out, Marshfield Fire, our definition of a save is a person that's pulseless, non-breathing, and then we are able to get obviously a pulse back, and they are able to be discharged from the hospital and being a productive member of society. So our level, when we say a save, is much higher than some other places. It's not just about getting a pulse back. It's not about anything. It's about these people, obviously being in a medical crisis and being able to be discharged and return to a normal life. So our standards are very high to be able to put it down and check the box as a safe. So just wanted to point that out. Any questions? We'd be willing to take them.
No, I'll just make a comment again. That's 11 people who basically had died and were brought to life, and one of those is great in a year. 11 in a year, I think, is spectacular. Bill?
We know what makes people. So, on page 15A, you have two abbreviations. One is RT, assume it's rescue task.
Stop legal. So stop legally, yeah. Rescue task force and stop.
And then later on, Steve was at the EMS town. Was there anything significant?
So the EMS town hall meeting is a monthly meeting. Actually was started during COVID, a way to the state to reach out to all EMS agencies. It was very popular, so it's continued. Each month is just updates on things that are happening. So no, nothing's.
Anything more? How about an update on the training center?
Thank you for letting me present on this, Bill. I appreciate you putting it on the docket for us to bring this information forward. We have an agreement with the City of Marshfield, Mid-State Technical College. We entered that in 2021. We've been able to utilize those funds effectively for the training ground. That's about $50,000 a year that we can spend on the training ground. As you know, training is a very important aspect of our. We have a lot of different disciplines that need to be trained on, and our intent is to build that training center out, utilize it for real life training. Some of the projects that we've been able to complete in the last year, since 2021, is we actually were able to put together an indoor facility. We utilized an older garage that we had in the site and added some heat and air conditioning to it, internet, Wi-Fi, and electrical service. That allows us to actually have some indoor facility training areas in inclement weather, so we can do some things inside. The other thing we've done is taken our training tower, kind of revamped that training tower, and added some things that would allow us to have a little bit safer features on it, ladders, things like that. In addition, I know we had a complaint that came through the mayor's office, and that was for some of the weed control down there. We've gone a step further and made sure that we took care of all the trees down there and cleaned those up, refurbished that area, made it very presentable. And we've also entered into some long contracts. We can take care of that on a long-term basis. One thing I'd really like to draw attention to is the training props. These were training props that were built by the fire department personnel. This was split amongst the three shifts. And I honestly would like to put a lot of that credit back on the shift commanders, and all three shift commanders are here today. Deputy Chief Weiland, Deputy Chief Jonas, and Deputy Chief Altman. Through their leadership, we were able to put together some very, very good training props. Those are Denver drills. They're training props that they can utilize for active training to get themselves out of buildings. And those are things that we've been able to do. Those are able to be broken down and taken down. We can put them at the training facility. We can bring them here, or they can be borrowed out to other facilities as well. So really trying to look at that regional model as well when we build out the training facility. Some future plans that we have for that area. We're going to do hopefully a three-story training facility down there that'll allow us to do active fire training in that building, along with search and rescue. We currently have one, but due to some of the things that we can't really get a 5-year certificate on, that building is kind of coming to the end of life, and we need to start looking at other options. Some other things that we'd like to look at in the future: backdraft condenser props, flashover condensers, confined space props, forcible entry props, gas props, and also hazardous materials props as we move forward. This is gonna be something that's gonna be a long-term project. This is no short-term fix, but we are looking at long-term funding expenses and ways to make that come together. And we're hoping to have a better solution. I'd encourage all of you to come down to the training facility at any time. I'll gladly give you a tour of any time and take you through all the props. You can see what we. But it's pretty much,
Agreement with mid-state tech.
that's a 10-year agreement. Over that time, I mean, we have the option to get out of the agreement, but at the same time, I don't see any reason to. That's a good solid agreement. I think it's something we can continue to work towards and really build on. And hopefully we can even go past the 10 years and we sign another contract with them to continue to build that facility out and maintain it. Anybody has any other questions?
And if you, take the time to go down to the training center, they'll let you crawl through that 26-inch pipe.
Absolutely. Always the highlight of the tour.
Yeah, they crawl through a pipe with air tanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the confined space.
Anyway, are there any, thank you for the update, appreciate it. Items for future meetings?
Other than trying to get some of the special.
Oh, yeah. It is amazing to me, the cities that have large Latino populations and really have no one who speaks Spanish, either on the police or fire. The attempt to do that here is, the next item is to go into closed session, but before we do that, we're going to take just a 5-minute break in case anyone other than me has to go to the restroom. Okay? Break time.